Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Suzette Vearnon. I'm a little later today than usual. Had a busy morning, had to go work out. Self-care is so very important. So a shout out to Trap Fit in Raleigh, Dante and Elliot. They worked a sister out today. So after I get finished with this, I'm probably going to sit in a hot tub of Epsom salts and relax. But I wanted to be true to my post-episode commentary. As you know, I have a podcast. It's called the Enough Factor Podcast, and a new episode releases every Sunday. And so on Mondays, I have my turn where I sit with you and I talk with you about my takeaways, my aha moments, things that made me go, And so today, I'm very excited because yesterday's episode was quite controversial. It was called, Can You Afford Your Expectations? Can you afford to date your expectations? And debuting was my co-host, Troy Vaughan. Troy, those of you who have been participating in You Ask Good Men Answered every year around August, the second week in August, shameless plug. You all are very familiar with Troy because he's been one of the guests on that summit. Well, Troy and I team up again for Enough Factor Podcast. And every fourth Sunday's release will be with Troy co-hosting with me. Yay! So I'm excited about that. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Trina. I'm very excited about that. I love how this podcast is organically morphing into what it wants to be. And I get to stand back and be an observer, but also a participant. So I'm in a very, very unique and blessed place. So without further ado, I want to talk about what I felt like was something that made me go, Usually I take a direct quote, but this right here is kind of more of the whole thing about value and being able to afford and looking at all of that. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Nat. I'm going to shout you out, Nat above. But, and so I wanted to look more at that because we talk about being able to afford. Can you afford to date your expectations? And the part that really made me go, was the question, what is your net worth to a relationship? Because many times us Westerners, we put so much weight on, whether the man pulls the chair out for us or takes us to a fine restaurant or whether we enjoy each other. And, we kind of put a whole lot of weight on the chemistry we feel, the attraction we feel, did he make whatever your currency is? Mine is humor. Did he make me laugh, and comfort? Did I feel comfortable with him? But that's only on the surface. Now, I will clarify, if dating is all that you're after, then those things are very important, right? It's important that you get along with that person, you feel good with them, you enjoy them, you got a kind of little sexy thing kind of going back and forth and, that kind of thing. That's very important. But if your intention is a relationship, something long term, then you have to look at values, y'all. Can I get an amen? Can I get a whoop whoop? Because the thing about it is, cute may wear off, but values will sustain. If you have common values, those can sustain you when you ain't feeling that excited. When you had a intense conversation, okay, when you started fussing or whatever, you have a conflict and it seems like you all are not quite on the same page. That's when values become very important. Hi, LaDawn. And so, and when I look at value, and I've got a bookkeeper brain as well as a creative brain, so I started thinking about net worth. And net worth is what's left, you know, when you look at your assets minus your liabilities, it's your net worth, right? Oh, thank you, LaDon. So you're looking at what do you have left, right? Because a lot of us put so much weight on our assets. Oh, we got a good job, you know, we finished college, we own our own home, we kind of cute, you know, I worked out, I lost a few pounds, you know, we put a lot of weight on accomplishment, on appearance. I'm articulate, you know, I cook a mean sweet potato pie. You know, so we think that's an asset. I have my own. You know, I built this by the, you know, I pull myself up by my own bootstraps, and I'm making it happen for myself, right? Hi, Stephanie. I see my enough warriors. Woo woo. And so we think that those are our assets. Okay, so that's the asset column over here, right? Now, I hope you have more assets than just how cute you are or what you have. I hope you value that, but some people don't. Some people grade themselves based on how they look or what they have or what they do, and they put that in the asset column. Okay, but I'm going to have you dig a little deeper. What do you have on the inside? That's an asset. What do you have that would be a gift to any man or any woman who was interested in you or attracted to you or wanted to get to know you more? You know, are you kind? Are you even fun to be around? You know, when you don't have your cute dating face on the regular, are you positive, or are you a person that complains all the time? Do you have the capacity for someone else to be in your life, or is it all about you? You know, are you nitpicky? Do you make a man feel after a while like you're his mama because you keep trying to parent him and tell him how he ought to be, what he ought to do? Or are you his lawyer? Do you debate things? Or, you know, are you constantly looking for whatever little wrinkle or whatever? What do you like to really date? Would a person want to date you? Do you have a nice attitude? Do you take yourself too seriously? What internal assets do you bring to the table? Okay? For some of you, that might be a stretch. But how many of you who have been in a relationship realize it takes more than how cute you are? It takes more than how good you are in the bedroom. It takes more than your accomplishments and your degree. If you don't know, I'm telling you, okay? So asset column. Then you got your liability column. What are your liabilities? Again, I'm going inside of you. What are your liabilities? Are you still dragging around John Doe who hurt you 10 years ago? Now, before you say, I got over that a long time ago, let me tell you something. The way you can tell how healed you are from your past relationship is how you show up in your new one. If you're in a new relationship and you're afraid that he might cheat on you like the last guy did. If you're afraid, well, I made up my mind after the last guy, I won't go never let nobody do this to me anymore. Does your guard go up? You know, when you get more nervous, when you feel that the relationship is requiring more of you, more of your emotional real estate, do you start self-sabotaging? Do you start creating stuff? I call them lids. You know, do those limitations come up? Those ideologies, you know, that your parents taught you and your auntie told you about men. Do your disconnects come into play? What you say you want and what you accept don't line up because you don't really know for sure that you're worth it. You don't know for sure, right? Or your stories, the story you made up about the person who hurt you and about you, the person who got hurt. If those things still come into play, then we got to put that on the liability side. So when you look at your assets, which is your currency, what you have available, what you bring to the table, and your liabilities, what's you're having to, you're still paying for it. You're still paying for it in some way. You're still paying for it. When you say assets minus liabilities, your net worth is what you have left. That's your wealth. That's all yours. So when you get through with assets minus liabilities, what's left? Is it enough to really relate in a relationship? Do you have enough energy left? Do you have enough capacity left? Do you have enough openness left that you can actually be in a relationship? I remember some years back before I got married, I used to talk to this guy. He was single too. Wasn't nothing serious. We used to sometimes get on Facebook and chat a little bit. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? And our favorite thing to chat about was what? Relationships. And I remember he made a statement that at the time, I was like, subtle lip poke out, subtle squinting of the eye, you know. But then after we got off the phone, off the chat, and ignore my phone ringing. That is my phone ringing. Note to self, turn phone off when you get on Facebook Live. But after we would talk, I thought to myself, does he have a point? Because what he said was, a lot of women want to be in a relationship, but they're not relationship material. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, what you mean? But then I thought about it. If your liabilities, if your emotional liabilities exceed your assets, then no matter how much you want to be in a relationship, you really have nothing to bring to the table. Think about it. Think about it. Because now I am a high achieving woman. And the women that I see that are on this Facebook Live, I think our hands will go up. We are about what we're about. No apologies. And I'm a part of you. Whoop, whoop. Let's get them. You know what? Let's get information. I already said my enough warriors are the Dora Milaje of enoughness. So, we about it. But if there's so much about it that a man would have to hurl himself on the hood of your moving car to just get your attention, then that would go in the liability column, because you're so about it that when it's time to relate, you have nothing. I see some love. I'm talking real, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking real, because I feel like we're at an age and stage in life where we need to really get out of the clouds with this high school, college fantasy thing that we have about relationships. One thing I know about us mover and shaker women, if we set our sights on something, we cannot be stopped. And that's the same when it comes to a relationship. I feel like this. I know everybody doesn't want to get married. I know everybody is not really thinking about being with anybody, whatever. But I think we need to really take the time to develop our relationship skills. Kind of like life insurance, right? You don't expect to die tomorrow, but if you did, it's good to know that you got life insurance, right? Same thing with developing relationship skills and healing from past relationships. I think just as much as we're involved in our grind, we need to get just as involved at becoming our best relationship selves. And because I believe that part of that is finding out for yourself what makes you enough. Finding out for yourself what you consider part of the assets column. Determine that for yourself. If you do that for yourself and you work on that, then when a gentleman or a woman comes into the picture, you might not have been, vying for it. You might have just shown up somewhere, and all of a sudden something starts happening and you see somebody, and there we go. Then if you've already been working on yourself, you don't have to go through all these changes. Oh my God, he didn't call me. Oh Lord, what does that mean? Oh, he's probably with another woman. Oh God, you know what? I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it was too good to be true. You don't have to go through all this kind of headsy, crazy stuff if you work on yourself now. Because if you don't work on yourself now, you're going to have a whole heck of a lot of work on yourself to do in the relationship. Now, I do need to clarify. I think you can only work on yourself to a certain level, right? Because you don't really know how much work on yourself has really taken root until it gets a chance to be tested. And the testing ground is when you're in a relationship. Your testing ground, for those of you who are adventurous like me, that'll put your profile up and you'll date somebody, maybe meet them for coffee, put yourself in a man or relationship or woman-rich environment so that you can start testing how whole you are becoming, how relationship available you are becoming, how much you can be yourself, not this self, because that's a defense mechanism. Yeah, I'm calling you out because I'm a woman just like you are, and I know how we do this thing. We think this is strength. No, it's defense. So you start working on those areas, and you don't feel like you have to be guarded or have rabid pit bulls in front of your heart. That you can actually relate without picking it apart, without overanalyzing it, and can let it go through its ebb and flow. If he doesn't call you for 2 days, you ain't gonna freak out because you got a life that you love and you understand that as valuable as you are, he's got to learn how valuable you are. I said this on the episode, and I encourage those of you that have not listened to the podcast, check out the link and listen to this podcast, because Troy and I bring an old school and a new school to this conversation. Okay? I want to say that. But I think it's very, very important that you get clear about your own worth and not put it in the hands of somebody else. Because if you're not clear about your net worth, somebody will give you theirs. And I had enough men trying to give me their worth of me. And I accepted it because I did not know. I had not done the work. I had not looked deeply within. I had not told myself the truth. I had not. So I took what they gave me and limped along, feeling like this is the best I can do. At least he's paying attention. But something in my heart feeling like, this ain't it. This ain't it. But I was so desperate for the possibility that he would pay attention to me again, I stayed. Until life brought the whammy that made me say, hold up. I'm the common denominator in all this stuff right here. I can say it's his fault. I can say he wasn't mature enough. I can say, it's because I was a strong woman. I can say all these little things that we say to make us feel good among our girlfriends, but don't mean squat when it comes to relationships. Doesn't mean squat. I'm talking real today, y'all. I'm talking real. Even I talk kind of real every day, but when it gets to relationships, I kind of am a no nonsense, because I know so many of us are playing these head games with ourselves and blaming other folk for it. And it's time for us to put on our big girl pants. Men, put on your tighten your belt, and let's come on and get this thing right. Let's come on while we praying. Walk as you pray. Work as you pray. Go see a therapist as you pray. Go get with a relationship coach as you pray. Pick up a relationship book written by a man And instead of you picking it apart saying, oh, I don't know whether I believe this or not, cultivate a teachable spirit so that you can learn how men think and how they're wired. Not so that you can manipulate, but so that you are informed and you don't freak out because you understand. So many of our freak outs, ladies, is because we don't understand how men are. We don't understand how they show up in the world. We don't understand what's the priority to them. We don't know how they go through the process of figuring out whether you're the right one or not. We don't know these things, and as a result, we freak out, we self-sabotage, we go nuts. So instead of waiting to be in that situation, cultivating, not just making the end point your goal. Oh, I just want to be in a relationship. Oh, I just want to get married. That's a wonderful end point, but there's so much in between. While you're patiently waiting, there's so much in between. Put some action with your waiting. Put some action with your patience. Put some action with your prayers. Put some action. Get out of the house. Sit in somebody's chair and work through your stuff. So, got up on a little tangent. You know how I roll. But anyway, that's a little bit of a tidbit to what, if you want to get the whole thing, listen to the episode, because Troy has some views of his own. And it's so very nice to be able to see this whole different dynamic because, hey, I think the hearts of people are pretty much the same. You know, the way humanity thinks through things and the way men represent and all that, the way women represent, there's certain things that are inherent in us that show up regardless of whether you're in a technological age or what age you're in. However, the way you go about it is starting to shift. Doesn't mean you got to change who you are, but you might have to kind of learn how to surf a little, shift a little, so that you can get what you are looking for. So that's a little bit of my post-episode commentary. Yes. I'm kind of in a high adrenaline thing. Like I said, I finished working out with my personal trainer who tried to kill me. He tried to kill me today. And so I'm going to leave here, fill a tub full of water, sprinkle in my Epsom salts, and sit there and say, woosah, and let the healing commence. I love you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. You know I love you. For those of you who are listening, want to be a part of a group of phenomenal women and maybe a few cool men. Right now it's my husband. So if y'all want to join my husband, any men out there, so he won't be by himself, please feel free to come over to the Enough Factor Connect. It's a wonderful group. We are no nonsense. We're not playing. We are showing up. We are asking ourselves the hard questions. We're digging deep so that we can define for ourselves what makes us enough. I think society, our well-meaning parents, our church doctrines have put so much on us to help us I'm sorry, not to even help us, but to tell us what makes us enough and what doesn't. And though they might be well-meaning, none of them created you. You were created by a divine consciousness, a higher consciousness at work in your life. And so we're doing the work to get past our biases, our prejudices, our preconceived notions about who we think we are, but we never really challenged it and never really looked deep enough to know. We're getting deep into that, you know, and having a little bit of fun at the same time. But our whole goal is we are redefining what makes us enough in life and in love. So if you're about that I am enough journey, come on over. Hey, we'd be happy to have you. All right, it's Monday. Have a great day. Thank you, those of you that enjoyed me on your lunch break, the ones that you're alive. If you listen to the replay, I'm just as happy to hear from you as well. I love you all. Now, I must go. Bye-bye.